Like all NCAA sports, volleyball rule changes are made on a 2-year cycle, and 2022 is a rule change year. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Rules Committee has created this video to communicate the rule changes, interpretations, clarifications, and points of emphasis for the 2022 season. We will include some of the same visual training and language that is used to train officials who attend the preseason
NCAA PAVO National Clinics.
The committee hopes that if coaches, players, and officials all hear a consistent message, the implementation of these changes will be as uneventful as possible. These are the members of the NCAA Women's Volleyball Rules Committee who met in January 2022. The committee meets in person each January. In even-numbered years, the committee reviews all the rules and considers rule changes for the coming season. In odd-numbered years, the committee develops rules clarifications, points of emphasis, and discusses new trends and topics submitted by coaches and administrators. Annually, the committee reviews all rule change proposals that have been submitted by coaches and administrators, as well as the results of the coaches' survey and injury reports. In addition to the in-person meeting each January, the committee has monthly conference calls during the volleyball season. Once the Volleyball Rules Committee votes to approve the rule changes, they are sent to PROP,
That is, Playing Rules Oversight Panel,
which is an NCAA committee that reviews rules for all NCAA sports. PROP is charged with considering financial impact, safety issues, or concerns about the integrity of the game. Once PROP approves the rule changes, they are put into effect. Let's review the representatives that make up the current committee. As you can see, there are 8 voting members on the Rules Committee. 4 are from Division I, and there are 2 each from Division II and Division III. Terms for committee members begin on September 1st each year, and there is a staggered rotation of terms, so there will be new members joining the committee each September.
The contact information for the committee members can be found at ncaa.org/playingrules.
Please feel free to contact any of the committee members with your thoughts or concerns about the rules. You may also contact the Secretary Rules Editor, Ann Pufall, who works with the committee to develop the actual rules language and interpretation for the women's collegiate volleyball rules.
For the fall 2021 season, the NCAA waived Rule 9443.
2022 will return to current rule language. At the end of other sets, if another is to be played that is not a deciding set, the first referee immediately gives the signal to change courts. Team members off the court can change benches immediately.
Pre- and post-match handshake.
It will be up to the conference and/or institution to determine if teams will shake hands prior to the first serve and at the end of the match. For non-conference matches, both coaches need to decide how they want to handle the handshakes.
NCAA and PAVO Officials Clinic will have a strong point of emphasis
For the officials to call the following rules: subs entering early, overlaps, service delay more than 8 seconds, delay in returning, preparing to play, late lineup submission, prolonged team huddles between sets. If these are called and corrected during the preseason, officials won't have to make those calls during conference play and postseason. By denying a player to sub, calling service delay, or prolonged huddles early in the season, we will hopefully correct this behavior for the rest of the season. There has been no real change to the team warm-up area. This should not change anything that we have done in the past couple of years. Players and coaches should pay attention to the space given to the line judge. Watch the player with the towel at the end of the play. Please remind your players to avoid getting close to the line judge. You will notice the rule no longer includes language that the subs are required to remain 1.75 meters from the service zone. That means the red line goes away. The rule now matches what most of us were already allowing in terms of sub location. The gray area now indicates where the substitutes can legally be located, 1.75 meters from the court. The change to this rule is highlighted. When the ball is out of play, only the head coach from each team may address the referees for the purpose of quickly clarifying a non-judgment ruling or requesting a challenge.
Any coach can still ask the referees to confirm the number of timeouts, substitutions or challenges their team has used, request a lineup check, or ask for a timeout.
How should the second referee address this?
Timeout. Immediate timeout now. Coach, talk to me.
What?
Just want to bring you over here, that's all.
First, the R2 does a good job of diverting the head coach from talking across to the R1. But then, what should he do under the current rules when the assistant coach joins the conversation, assuming he's not asking how many subs they've used? Try controlling the situation verbally with statements like, "I am only talking to the head coach," and if necessary, advance it to, "Coach, by rule I will only talk to you and will be assessing your assistant coach a yellow card." This is a situation where the assistant coach approaches the R2 during the interval between sets. Under the current rule, is this allowed? Probably not. There are conversations that would be okay in this situation. For example, how many challenges have we used? Or how many subs have we used? Nothing about decisions or judgments is allowed. The NCAA wanted every sport to have the same sanction for tobacco use.
For all other NCAA volleyball disqualifications, the offending party will be disqualified for the current match. Prop is also requiring all NCAA sports to add this to their rules book.
This rule was added in 2021, but was not in our rules book. The changes are highlighted. This includes conference logo and national flag. If the team does not have enough players due to illegal uniforms, the team will be issued a 1-point administrative sanction prior to the first set, or when the issue is discovered. So let's break it down. On the front of the jersey or sleeves, players can have names, mascots, events, or other causes. They must be identical if more than one player wears it, but not everyone has to wear them. So a team can have their logo on the sleeve and a patch on the upper chest. On the back of the jersey, where the player's name is traditionally located, the names/words may vary by team member. In both situations, the visibility of the uniform number cannot be compromised. All jewelry must be removed except small, secured articles like post or stud piercings. Articles of jewelry below the chin are not permitted. String bracelets, commemorative bracelets, and body jewelry are considered jewelry and not permitted. Taping over earrings or other jewelry is not permitted. There has been a more lenient jewelry rule passed for the coming season. We are starting out small, above the chin only, to see if wearing jewelry impacts the game at all. The Rules Committee has asked the referees to enforce this new rule to the letter of the law for this season. The committee can always add more jewelry options if enforcement and injury data shows that what is allowed has not created a safety issue. As a reminder, clear plastic piercing retainers have always been allowed. Let's look at some examples. Remember, the rule says stud-like or post-like. The green arrow points to a post in the lip, which is legal. The two red arrows point to hoops in the nose, which are illegal. The green arrow points to an eyebrow post, legal. The red arrow points to a hoop, illegal. The red arrows points to an illegal hoop in her nose and ear. The green arrows point to legal post in the nose and lip. Red arrows point to illegal hoop earrings. The green arrow shows legal stud earrings. A sanction may be assessed for distracting or moving sideways to prevent an opponent from seeing the serve even if the ball is not served over that player. We made an edit to the screening rule. The highlighted language has been removed from screening and moved to Rule 6 on the sanction scale. Screening is still a rule in the rule book. The referee clinic will have a module on screening. The rule states players on the serving team must not take action to prevent receiving team players from seeing the contact of the serve and the path of the ball. On the far side of the court, not even the Libero helps create the screen. These screens need to be warned the first time when whistled. If a team is at risk for a potential screen, the team will be warned. The first referee will call the captain over, giving the screening signal, and inform the captain that the team is at risk of a screen. Scoring protest. Referees may use CRS video during a scoring protest to settle a potential scorer's error, including legality of substitutions, timeout requests, or number of challenges used. The typical current play-by-play stats system may not have the player's name or number running column. This addition to the rule gives us an extra resource. Number 1, thorough review of score sheets / Libero tracking sheet for errors. Number 2, consultation with referees, scorers, or alternate officials. Number 3, check to see if stats has a player's name or number. Number 4, CRS. Number 5, information from the team benches to see if both teams agree on the score. Example of when you might use CRS. Coach says her player served 3 points, not 2 points. Or, coach says the substitution was recorded for the wrong player. The referee can use the CRS to determine how many times the player served.
This rule change came after an experimental rule was conducted during the 2021 season by 15 Division I conferences and 1 Division II conference. The response was overwhelming from coaches who participated in the experimental rule, and they say it was a positive change. Allowing only 2 challenges prevented coaches from misusing them as timeouts, so the challenges were used with the correct intent. A team begins each match with 2 challenges per match. If a 5th set is played, each team is awarded an additional challenge at the start of the set, not to exceed 2 total challenges.
If the video review results in a reversal of the original outcome, that challenge is retained by the challenging team. If the original outcome stands or is confirmed, the challenging team loses that challenge. A challenge is removed only if the team loses that challenge. For the 5th set, the team can have 2 unsuccessful challenges, not 2 accepted challenges total. A new challenge category has been added to the list: Libero setting a teammate. Whether the libero's foot or feet or takeoff point is in the front zone when they set the ball to a teammate as defined by Rule 12.124. A teammate may not complete an attack hit when, at the moment of the attack hit, the ball is entirely above the top of the net and the ball is coming from an overhand finger passed by a libero in the front zone. This is strictly regarding the libero's feet or last takeoff point before setting to a teammate. If the first referee indicates the ball was not completely above the height of the net when contacted by the attacker, the opposing coach cannot challenge height or location of the ball. Watch the libero on the team on the left. The opposing coach can challenge that the libero for the team on the left set the ball to a teammate who attacked the ball. After accepting a challenge, the referee is informed that a camera or cameras has a mechanical failure. The coach must decide if they want to continue with the challenge, using the remaining cameras, or withdraw the challenge. The old rule said as long as one camera is working, the challenge must proceed, which didn't seem very fair. Now, if the challenge is accepted and the referees are told that one or more cameras that everyone thought were available are out of order, the referee will inform the coach which cameras are down and which are working. The coach must indicate if they want to continue the challenge or not. This should not be a long discussion. For example, you can say, "Coach, do you want to continue the challenge review, or do you want to withdraw the challenge?" Associated techniques/procedures. Prior to the match or before a rally, the referees learn that the overhead and R1 sideline cameras are not available for use of this match. This is not considered a mechanical failure, since both teams were made aware before the match began. Pro tip: coach wants to challenge an in/out near the R1 sideline. The second referee should say to the coach, "I want to remind you that the overhead and R1 sideline cameras are not in use. Do you still want to challenge?" If the coach says yes, continue with the challenge. If you cannot see the ball landing on the CRS monitor, the call stands.
the coach does not retain that challenge. Correctable error. If incorrect information provided by the officials regarding substitutions, timeouts, challenges used, or lineup checks immediately leads to a related fault, it is a correctable error. For example, Team A asks for a lineup check and is told that player number 5 is the next server. Immediately after number 5 serves the ball, the scorer states that Team A had an incorrect server. Number 7 should have been the correct server. Team A has not committed a fault. The rally should be replayed with number 7 serving. The purpose is to get the call correct if there is an administrative error by the officiating crew that immediately leads to a fault. Thank you for watching the NCAA Coaches video. Have a great season.